All right, I'm going to share with you the 7 best investments I made for my skin and what was actually well worth the investment, so that if you're thinking of doing something for yourself, you know where to save money and where to avoid wasting money. So I'm 45, turning 46 soon, and I have done a lot of silly things to my skin, which include, but are not limited to, sunbaking and solariums. And yes, I of course regret this, and if I could go back in time, I wouldn't be so stupid. Now, I have also spent a lot of time and money trying to, repair or reverse the damage that I did in my youth to my skin. And there are lots of different things that I have done and tried and experimented with. So I wanted to share with you today the 7 best things that I did for my skin, so that if you're thinking about perhaps doing something for yourself, you know what to avoid and what to actually look for that may be the best return on your investment. Starting with the most shocking one. I had a bleph and a mild eyebrow lift just over 2 years ago. So for a really long time, I really started to hate the appearance of my eyes. I had a really heavy eyelid and people were always saying to me, "Canna, you look really tired. Canna, you look really sad." And it was really starting to eat away as much as I tried to sort of rise above it. And I realized that when I would wear makeup, by the end of the day, my eyeshadow and mascara would actually be all over my eyebrows, because during the day, my eyebrows and eyelids would slump more. Now, I did a lot of research before doing this surgery, and I actually ended up going through an ophthalmic surgeon rather than a cosmetic surgeon. The ophthalmic surgeon for me worked better because it wasn't so much about trying to make me look younger, but it was more about trying to get my eyes back to what they looked like before, they started to droop. And he was a wonderful surgeon. He was absolutely lovely, and he was extremely conservative in what he wanted to do. In fact, I probably had to push him to try and cut off more, if that makes sense. Now, in his, process of appointments and consultations, he actually insisted that I go and meet with some cosmetic surgeons to get, a point of comparison. And I did this, and it was actually really quite interesting because I found the cosmetic surgeons were trying to upsell me. They were really focused on a much more dramatic change of appearance to my eye shape and my face shape, and some of them even suggested other things beyond a bleph and an eyebrow lift, and it made me feel incredibly uncomfortable. So I'm really glad I went with the ophthalmic surgeon rather than a cosmetic surgeon. Now, the downtime is about 2 weeks. I will admit I did look kind of scary, like I'd been in a boxing match, and of course I had stitches across my eyelids, and the ones through my eyebrow weren't actually too bad because obviously they're disguised. And my kids were initially a little bit freaked out, but they got used to it very quickly. And whenever I was out and about, I just popped on some sunglasses, particularly when I was around children. But then if someone was in my home or I was around someone that I kind of knew, I just owned it. I told people exactly what I've done because they were going to assume it anyway and make their own assumptions. So I'd rather be on the front foot and be transparent. Now, this was definitely one of the best investments I've made. I'm so happy with the results. I bounced back really quickly. I'm really happy that I look like my old happy self. And yes, it was expensive. Yes, I saved up before I did this. And yes, I would actually do this all over again in a heartbeat. The second best investment that I've ever made in my skin is a Cosmelan face mask. Now, I've actually made a video about this process, and I did this over 8 years ago. Now, it's a fairly aggressive, dramatic face mask, but essentially this brown paste is put over your face. You wear it for about 12 hours, and then over the course of about 2 weeks, your skin starts shedding, like peeling in chunks, and you look very, very red, and it feels like a bad sunburn / windburn. So you're quite inflamed, and no, you can't mask this with foundation, because if you try and put foundation on your skin, your skin literally pushes it off. This is one that you definitely don't need to go into hibernation necessarily, but you need to be aware that you're going to look like a tomato for about 2 weeks. But once the shedding begins, your skin has this amazing glow about it. And I am amazed as to how good my skin looked after doing this. It's not exactly cheap when it comes to facials, but I had mine 8 years ago and I'm only just now feeling the curiosity/need to perhaps look at doing it again. But this was definitely a treatment that I think is well worth the investment if you're prepared to go through a little bit of discomfort for about 2 weeks. The third investment, and this is a bit of a mixed one because it really comes down to who does this treatment, but laser. I have spent a fortune on failed laser. I find that, yes, it would attack my brown spots, but, they would come back really quickly. And I found that I was constantly being upsold these packages. They're like, oh, you only need probably 3 treatments. And then I'd have 3 treatments at, say, $600 each. And then they'd tell me, oh, look, it's pretty stubborn. You need another 3. And before I knew it, I had committed a huge amount of money to then find that as I just progressed through my normal everyday life and, would be in the sun, they'd all come back. It was a huge waste of money. But there was one exception. I went and saw Dr. Natasha Cook about, 7 years ago, and she was really aggressive with the lasers, but in a very controlled, safe way. No one else would go as aggressively with the lasers like her, and she zapped away all of my sunspots and did the best results. Now, if you're considering getting Cosmelan or laser, I would strongly suggest doing Cosmelan first because it peels back all the layers of skin and then allows obviously the laser then to penetrate so much deeper. But I think when it comes to laser, I would only ever do laser again with someone like Dr. Natasha Cook or a doctor that really knows the strength of the laser and where you really do need to turn up the volume, if you like, on particular spots that need intense penetration. Number 4 is lip and eyebrow and even eyeliner tattooing. Now, I have made a YouTube video about this, sharing the process and what it looks like and what it feels like, but it is amazing. So I like days where I don't wear makeup, and since having my lips tattooed and my eyebrows tattooed, having makeup-free days happen more often and they happen with more confidence. It is incredibly natural. You obviously it comes down to the person that you're using and making sure that they are extremely experienced and knowledgeable. And what I would suggest you do is you actually take your favorite lipstick with you so that they can match the color if you're thinking about getting this done. So if you're curious, I would only ever get your eyebrows first or your lips first so that you get comfortable before you actually go and get an eyeliner done, because eyeliner tends to last a lot longer. But one of the best things about getting your lips tattooed is they look so much fuller and look so much more natural. So it would have been about maybe 6 years ago, I got filler in my lips. I did it once. I only had a small amount and I looked so stupid. You may have actually seen maybe some of those YouTube videos from 6 years ago. I looked plastic, and even just the distortion of my lips, it made so many other parts of my face look really unnatural. So I would never ever do that again. Getting my lips tattooed makes them look fuller, makes them look bigger, but makes them look so much more natural. And apparently as we age, we lose a lot of color in our lips. So this is a great way of looking more youthful without actually having to necessarily do anything to the actual face area. Number 5 is red light therapy and good quality serums. All right, I will never spend a huge amount of money on a cleanser or a moisturizer or even like a sunscreen, to be honest. I'm happy with just a supermarket or chemist brand. But when it comes to serums, this is where I will happily fork out and invest. When it comes to serums, I look for things like peptide, I look for vitamin B, which also includes taking vitamin B supplements, and I will only use serums that are scientifically proven. Now, my favorite place to buy all of my serums is through Douglas Piero, who is a skin therapist. And what the beautiful thing about Douglas is he actually looks at your skin and then gives you a prescription. So he's not giving you this blanket product suite to go and buy. He's actually looking at your skin, looking at how your skin reacts during different times of the year. Yes, because our skin during summer with the humidity is different to how it behaves during winter. And he actually creates a special customized plan for your skin. And you can actually say to him, look, I'm on a budget. I don't want to spend too much money on products. What do you recommend as an absolute essential? And he's so honest. He's so transparent. He lets you know what you need to spend and where you can actually go and save. And to me, I really value that transparency, that honesty, and also that incredible source of knowledge and experience. Number 6 is a facial massage, kind of like the gym face or face gym, I think it's called. Now, this is where they literally put their hand and fingers in your mouth and massage your face. And it sounds really disgusting and really unhygienic, but it's not at all. And you can literally see the impact and improvement on your skin within minutes. Your skin looks so plump. It looks so vibrant. It looks so young and fresh. And you can really see the benefit of having your skin and face massaged, and the circulation and the blood flow really does improve this. Now, it's also incredibly relaxing. We have so many muscles in our face that we never properly actually exercise, stretch, or allow to, actually reset and relax. Now, for me, the way I think about facial massages is it's actually a reward. It's in my budget, but it's a reward if I've stuck to my financial goals, I've stuck to my budget and my cash flow system, and I really enjoy the actual relaxation that comes from this treatment that not only helps me recharge my batteries, but also helps improve the elasticity, the blood flow, and the circulation for my face. And then number 7, that is actually not related to my skin, it's related to my hair. For so many years, I have used bleach and peroxide and all those wonderful, nasty chemicals to make my hair as light and as bright as possible. But with all the work that I was doing for Channel 9, and obviously all the tools that they use like irons and wands, my hair started to snap off and look really dry and brittle. And I ended up having to spend a fortune on treatments and products to try and fix my hair. But it got to the point where it was just too expensive to maintain, and I started to look really tacky and it looked really nasty. So I decided to go darker, and it was actually one of the best things that I've done. I now value healthy, thick, happy hair over, being a bright blonde. My hair is finally starting to grow and grow longer. It feels thicker. It makes me look healthier, and I feel so much happier. And whilst Tom absolutely hates my hair being darker, I absolutely love it, and I feel really good about myself, and I feel like I'm so much more comfortable about how I look naturally. All right, over to you. I would love to hear from you now. What are the things that you have invested in that have helped you feel or perhaps look younger? This is not about trying to look 25 again. It's about embracing our current age and using all the tools and options that work for us, that are in alignment to our values, to try and live our lives to the best of our ability. I would love to hear from you as to what treatments you've tried, or even what treatments didn't work and were a waste of money. And of course, let me know what else you'd like to hear from me, because as you know, the journey of financial freedom isn't just about saving and investing constantly. It's about enjoying your life with joy, with balance, and with no regrets. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give me a thumbs up, and of course, you make sure you're subscribed. And of course, let me know what you'd like to hear next week.